Ben Rama. Duh, 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 duh. Oh, Jared Bowen. Duh, 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 duh. Michael Antonio. Can you score us? Please score us a goal.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hammers Fans United, and welcome back to one from each team. I know I've said it on the previous 3 editions, but I am joined by a very special guest. I call him a legend. He brought it to my attention.
Certified legend, please.
Certified legend.
Thank you.
You know what? He brought it to my attention when I gave a couple shout outs the other day on after I hadn't put out a video for long. Forgot to mention him. And he let me know, which, I like that. And then he didn't get back to my email. So I'm thinking maybe I've lost him as a friend. But nah. So, everybody that's about West Ham will know who this is. But I have the one, the only, certified legend, Charlie Walsh from Hammers Chat. Charlie.
Thank you. Correct usage of the title. You were the one who gave it to me, so I feel like I needed to pull you up. You were saying legend, no, certified. It's been certified. It's been signed off. That means, someone, the legend council, whatever, have said, no, this guy, we've stamped that. We've rubber stamped that one. So I just wanted to make sure it's. Yeah, how are you? How's things?
I'm good, man. And I would like to, while we're on there, you came on here at, last minute almost. Like last night, you popped on to West Ham Random, and you said, boom, I'll do it. So. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
And like I said before we went on air, I haven't fully seen your team, which is a good thing for me. I've probably like 6 players I can sort of remember off the top of my head. So yeah, that's a good thing. So and I am looking forward, and I'm interested in how you approach this concept. Do you want to just for the 30 seconds just big up your channel, and because obviously we want to get people to subscribe or add to your subscribers on that channel. So Hammers Chat, tell me about it.
About it. We've been doing it since the last season at Bowling. We've been going for a long time now. If you want to see more of me, I do the watch-alongs every single match day, non-stop, forever. It feels like at times by myself. So I would love you to come get involved. But yeah, Hammers Chat. You can find us about. We have a second channel as well called the Hammers Chat Forum channel, which Gonzo does. I very rarely appear on there. But yeah, Hammers Chat, and then I do loads of other things that you can find on my Twitter at @ATopLads, because I do a lot. I don't know if you've noticed, I do a lot of stuff all of the time. But yeah, I mean, man. Get involved. Like I said, come watch the watch-alongs if you want. Keep me company, because I do it by myself, and the live chat is the thing that actually keeps me going. So I would love to see you. I'd love to see you.
Right. So what I'll do is I'll put Hammers Chat and Hammers Chat Forum, the links obviously in the description. If you want to, send me your Twitter, because I don't use Twitter or none of that, but I will put all of your links. And yeah, people go and check them out. And I don't know Gonzo. What's the other Gonzo and what's the other guy?
Gio.
Yeah, I don't know them. Like I haven't interacted with them, but if they're part of Charlie's setup, then they got to be certified as well. So yeah, like Charlie's a good guy, man. So yeah, go and check out Hammers Chat and Hammers Chat Forum. Right now, you know why you're here, Charlie. Do you know what? I said to you off there, I'm going to put you on the spot. And you said that's fine. What I want you to do is I want you, the West Ham, the little chant that I made up, I want you to give me a rendition, please, my friend.
Oh, bruv. You have to tell me what it is, and I will, listen. I'll be real. Look, listen, I'm a former choir boy, okay? So these services don't come cheap. But for you, I'll do it. For you, I'll do it.
Right. So, what do I sing it and then you sing it after? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ben Rama, dun 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 dun. Ah, Jared Bowen, dun 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 dun. Michael Antonio, please can you get us a goal?
So
please,
that
can
was
you
it.
Score us a goal? Whatever. Yeah, that's it.
I remember the video. You did it like 3 or 4 times at the beginning. I remember.
Yeah.
So it was Ben Rama, Jared Bowen, Michael Antonio. Those are names, right?
Please can you score us a goal? Yeah, I had to work out the end bit, but yeah.
Just trying to remember the name. All right, so
this is an exclusive, by the way.
Hang on. Let me just
I'm gonna put this right at the start of the video as well.
I'll put it at the start.
Rendition.
Put it at the start. Put it at the end.
Right at the start.
Cut out everything else and just upload this. I'm fine with it. Right? You ready?
Boom.
Okay. Ben Rama, oh Jared Bowen, Michael Antonio. Can you score us? Please score us a goal. I flopped the end, but the rest of it's there. I see why you're still thinking about the end a little bit.
Yeah. Please, can you score us a goal? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I've got that's with it. But round of applause. And you know what? The more Hammers fans that get used to this, then it might find its way. It might catch on. Stadium should do. Anyway, right. Let's get into this.
I'll do it on the watch along. Next game, Vienna. I'll sing it on the watch along.
Yes, and I'll be tuned in.
Try get it moving.
I'll be tuned in. Right. So, are you confident in your squad? Like in comparison to the previous three, Fever, Charlie Boy. Thinking about Charlie Boy, obviously, and Gatesy. Are you, confident that your squad would compete with those squads?
100%. I think, to be fair, unlike people like Charlie Boy and stuff, I've had it a bit extra because there's some extra players in the Premier League that exist now that weren't in the squad when I think weren't available last time. And I've tried to sort of. So I'm not there's certain places I've made sacrifices, but that's because I've tried to make a team and a squad that would actually work together and work well. So I've gone with the 4-2-3-1 that West Ham sort of play. I've tried to mold it in that image a bit. So I've made a couple of sacrifices here, but I think for the greater good. Similarly to how West Ham right now, we might not have the best 11 in the league, but we certainly are up there against any other team because we work hard as a unit, and that's the ethos here. That's the idea.
Yeah, and that's a good thing because I ideally I want people to get into almost manager mode and pick a 20-man squad. So that is actually a squad, right? So all we do, you've seen already, is you tell me the club, I put them on the screen, and then obviously we go to the best. So we're going to start with your bench. Which club are we going to first for your first sub?
First one we'll go to is Watford.
Okay, they're right here. That's easy. Let me get them up. Make sure this thing. Okay, it's working. Right. Leave it to you. Watford.
So, this is one of those picks where it's a bit of a sacrifice because the right answer would probably be Bachmann, because I think Bachmann is probably a better goalkeeper at this stage of their careers. But I have gone with Ben Foster, and the reason I've gone with Ben Foster is because I think as a backup goalkeeper and someone you want in a squad, he's the perfect guy. I'm thinking a little bit about those YouTube views, cycling GK. He's out here making banging videos. I'm not thinking about that stuff. They're very good. But also I think, you want to have those seasoned pros around the team. If you have a team of just young starters, it might not gel as well. You need those seasoned heads. And Ben Foster's a guy who, with another young goalkeeper, which we have coming up, and everything else, I feel like it's nice to have an experienced head. And every time I see him talk, he seems like the most legit guy as well. So I've gone with him, even though I think Bachmann is better at this stage in their careers. Bachmann's obviously had a good Euros. He's got international experience now. He's taken leaps and bounds ahead. He's starting more and more for Watford. I have gone with Ben Foster for almost more off the field reasons.
Okay, so I don't want to spend too long on what I say, but because no one's picked Foster and your reasoning, it's a whole new reasoning, and I get it. So because you've picked him and Charlie Boy picked Bachmann, I've said what I've got to say about Bachmann. So I wanted to, just follow on from what you said. So yeah, I like your thought process. That's me. Okay, right. So that's sub number one. Sub number two, which club are we going to before you name that player?
We're going to Norwich. Someone other people have picked, and it's the obvious one. It's Max Aarons. He's very good. He's young, and he's one of these people who would benefit a lot from people like Foster being in and around the team. And a lot of the rest of the defense that I've picked, that you'll see going forward, both on the bench and on the actual team, are very experienced people. And I think when I look at Max Aarons, I think this is a guy who needs to sort of step out of Norwich in order to become what he could become. But part of that is having those experienced heads who can teach him and who can sort of pull him out and save him a little bit. Because as good as Aarons is, as fast as Aarons is, he does have a little bit of the Fredericks about him at times where he does get caught out of position. And so having those experienced heads around him can help him a little bit. This isn't a Vladimir Sufal as such. He's fast, he's going forward a lot, he's an attacking guy. But also, the right back that I've picked in the team to start, he's a little bit of the opposite of that. And I quite like having the option of playing him in in games where maybe you'd be going up against more defensive teams. You want to bomb at them a bit more, it gives you that flexibility. But he's the obvious one from Norwich to an extent, is Max Aarons, to be fair.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so other people picked him, so I will move on. Which club are we going to?
Brighton and Hove Albion.
Okay, this is your third sub. Let me find them.
Lewis Dunk.
Okay.
Centre back, incredibly experienced. He has everything you sort of want in a backup centre back. Is going to be in and around the team. We were interested in him years ago. Big Sam really wanted him. That's how long ago it was that he's been about. And I really like him. He's not going to set the world on fire. He's one of those people he was one of the last names I put down. Brighton were one of the last teams I decided on. But I really like Lewis Dunk. If you said to me Lewis Dunk was one of the West Ham centre-backs, not starting perhaps, because obviously Ogbonna and Zuma are both very good, but if he was in and around the squad, I would not complain whatsoever. I really like Lewis Dunk. I think he's perhaps a little bit underrated because he plays for Brighton. I think he could definitely step up a level.
Yeah. I understand that. And he's one of those ones that pops up with goals throughout the season as well.
Very true.
And at the moment, obviously, you've got a keeper, you've got a right back who can also be left back, and you've got a centre back. So, interesting, because, we need a balance on the bench. Where are we going to go for your fourth sub, Charlie?
We're going up north to Ellen Road, Leeds United. This one's a little bit of a risk, but I do back him to succeed, and it's Junior Firpo.
Oh, wow.
He's someone who he never set the world on fire at Barcelona, but it's very difficult to set the world on fire at Barcelona, especially when like Jordi Alba's standing right there. It's kind of difficult when you're standing next to Jordi Alba to look pretty good. But whenever I saw him play, I was always like, this is a decent player. I remember you were linked with him. I was very for it. I was like, I'd love Junior Firpo to be in the team. It's a risk because I don't think he's performed yet at Leeds. And there's one or two more risks like that existing in this team. I will warn you now, but I honestly think he can do it. I honestly genuinely think he can do it. I like Firpo a lot. I think he gets forward well, and he's more of a direct replacement for the first choice left back if you get injured or anything. So keeping that squad sort of solidity. But I like Firpo. I think it will happen for him. It's a case of what happens with Leeds in general at this point, I think.
So I would say, some people might be like, wow, and you're picking him on what you feel his potential is, and maybe he needs a bit of time to adjust to the Premier League.
Yeah. It's definitely not from what he's done yet. It's definitely not from what he's done in the Premier League yet.
Okay. So, that's an interesting one. And it's good. Like, I like the fact that, as soon as you said Leeds, I was thinking, is it Rafinha or is it Calvin Phillips? You understand? But, I'm glad that you've picked someone because, I do want, these squads to be varied. So, I'm glad you've picked someone other than the obvious.
Yeah,
and you've put a left back in there as well.
I'm trying to get the balance right. I'm trying to get the balance of like personalities and ages right. Like I did genuinely think about it. Like I can show you after. I'll send you a picture after of the spreadsheet I have. I've genuinely thought about this. I think you look at Phillips and you look at say Rafinha, for example, there's just better options than them around the league. And so you have to pick and choose who you're going to be. And I think Firpo is one of those people who, when it hits for him, it's going to be very, very good. It's just a case of waiting for that and hoping it happens. And it's a bit of a risk. I appreciate it, but I do believe in him.
But, I mean, you have to pick someone from Leeds. And, you've now filled that left back substitute place as well. So rather than just picking someone like the glamour names from Leeds and not having a left back in your squad on your bench. Right. So where are we going to go for your fifth sub?
We'll go to Southampton.
I know this is going to be no, it doesn't have to be, but everybody's picked him on their bench thus far.
James Ward-Prowse. James Ward-Prowse. I think when you're looking, when I'm thinking about the 4-2-3-1, you're thinking about people who are in my head, the ideal thing, and that's what we've got at the moment, is someone who's going to sit and defend and someone who's going to be able to do everything else, be a bit of a playmaker, get up and down. And James Ward-Prowse just kind of has all of it. He's the right age. He's got leadership qualities. He's already a captain. He can take set pieces for days. If you're looking for someone who's not starting, because I don't think he's one of the best central midfield, defensive midfield players in the league, but he's certainly a very, very high level. And if you're looking for someone who's going to come on and kick on into those roles and also come on from the bench and stuff, I mean, James Ward-Prowse is He's real good. Southampton were a difficult team to pick for. They were a very difficult team to pick for. And he's one of the names that really stands out in that side. But I think, when you think about actually not just who's the best players in the team, how someone fits into a wider squad, he also just works way too well. It's James Ward-Prowse. I suspect the more episodes you do of this, the more times you'll hear the words James Ward-Prowse, because it just kind of makes sense.
Yeah, once again, like I said, you're the 4 out of 4. He's been on everybody's bench. And, now that Ings is not in that squad, it's probably going to be him. Do you understand? Because, Ings would be a fantastic backup striker from Southampton, but he's not there anymore. So, yeah, James Ward-Prowse is definitely going to be, I can see him on most people's benches. But, it's a great pick. And now you've got your back line covered in regards to subs. You've now added a midfielder. So you're clearly going down the balanced route, and it seems to be, trying to cover every position almost on the bench. 5th. Okay, so who is your 6th substitute? Which club? Okay,
Aston Villa. This
will be interesting because clearly it's going to be a more forward player.
It's John McGinn.
Okay. New pick.
I like John McGinn a lot. I really like John McGinn.
Yeah.
If you were to, like when when City first got money and they went through a couple of years of just buying the best players from the non-big teams in the Premier League. Like John McGinn's one of those people who I would instantly snap up. Like, you're talking about balance. He can play as like the attacking midfielder in the center. He can play on either side. He can also play deeper in a more central midfield role. He's not going to do the defensive work, but that's why you have a more defensive-minded player sat next to him. Like James Ward-Prowse can be a bit more defensive. The other midfielders I've got in the actual team can be a bit more defensive. He just gives you versatility, but he also gives you balance. He gives you work rate. Like, you want to talk about a guy who would work in a David Moyes team. John McGinn is a guy who would work in that team. He gives you the work rate. He has that never say die attitude. He's also really good on the ball. He can shoot from range. He's got everything. I think John McGinn is legitimately one of the more underrated players in the league. Definitely. And I think for him, it's potentially probably because he was stood next to Jack Grealish, similar to the Firpo Alba thing. I think he's stood next to Jack Grealish, and so it's like everyone's like, "Oh, look at Jack Grealish and his hair." But realistically, I think John McGinn's so good. I think he's so underrated. I love him. He was an easy one. He was an easy one for me, because when I look at Villa, as much as they have a very good team at the moment, Aston Villa, like for me, I just like, I would, if I was a manager, I would take John McGinn in my side 10 days out of the week. Do you know what I mean? He's so good.
And for me, it's another, and it's a great pick. And when I think they came up and Man United was linked with him, so I didn't really know about it too much about John McGinn, and I'm thinking Man United, scraping the barrel now for players. But the more I've seen of him, like you, I really rate him as a footballer. I rate, his energy, his work rate, his quality. So he would definitely work for West Ham. 100% he would work for us. And he's that's a great pick, actually. And I like these new picks as well that no one ain't mentioned him. So I can see, you're trying to, it's a very balanced bench so far. So, and he's got a bit of everything about him: quality and grit and determination, typical Scottish almost in regards to his determination.
Again, you're trying to build a team that actually works here. Trying to build a team that, if they were together in real life, this would actually work as a cohesive unit, not just the big names, would be cohesive in real life, because you could pick, let's say Aston Villa, it might be an obvious choice, would be like Ings or Watkins or someone like that. But if you're trying to pick a team, a holistic unit, you need people like John McGinn to actually make these things work, to bring that balance. And that's sort of, again, I'm really trying to create a squad here, not just pick the best players. I'm trying to genuinely pick a squad here.
Yeah. And that, that is the actual, that is how this is meant to be approached. I know some people are going to want to go for all the stars and that, but of course. Yeah, I always said from day one, put yourself in manager's mode. And if Premier League squads were only 20 man and you had to pick from one, put yourself in that position. So so we're going to go for your 7th sub, I think. Which club are we going to? I'm sure it's your 7th one now.
We'll go to Brentford.
Oh, it's got to be, but then again, it might not be. One sec. Brentford. Because... All right, yeah. Okay. Who is it?
I really, really struggled to not... I wanted to pick Ivan Toney, but I haven't.
I didn't think it's him because
Brentford are a team who like I followed Brentford a lot. So when my dad's from West London, so I did end up going to like quite a few Brentford games when I was a kid, just because they were in like League Two and rubbish at the time.
Yeah.
So it was very easy and cheap to go to watch Brentford.
Cheap.
And a lot of my dad's friends supported Brentford because that's the sort of area he was from and whatnot. So like I'd go to Brentford, and so I've always had a soft spot for Brentford, and I've watched them all the way come up through the leagues, and I love the way they play. I love their recruitment, everything about them. Brentford are excellent, right? And so it took all of my being not to pick Ivan Toney, because I love Ivan Toney. And in the summer, I was shouting his name from the rooftops as someone I want at West Ham. I adore Ivan Toney. But putting my manager's hat on, and I'm looking at it logistically, I'm looking at it like in terms of everything. I've gone for Mbeumo, the winger, right winger, French winger.
Yes.
Kids lightning, kids quick, and he's one of those people who he gets you on the edge of your seat. He's always going to try to do something, and he's one of the more exciting players in that team. Him and his partnership with Tony as well has been great. His partnership with a lot of people has been great, but I really like him. I really like him. I think this is the beginning of his career in a sense. You're looking at him now I think he's 22, 23 at this point. So it's not the beginning,
but that young?
This is him stepping into the world of top level football, and I think he's going to stay there for a long time. I really like him. And when I was looking at sort of backup wingers who are gonna, he has the work rate as well. I just like him a lot. I can't lie to you. I just like him a lot. Soft spot.
You know, as soon as I said 7, because I've seen you've gone from back to front. I knew it weren't Tony, because there's no way you're going to mention your striker and you've still got 2 more picks. So I was like, when I first done this, I said to Charlie Boy, for me, it's either going to be Mbeumo or Tony that people are going to pick. And then, then you think about Rico Henry might come into the equation. But other than that, with Brentford, the
other one I considered was Onyeka, the DM. I think Onyeka is pretty decent. He's come in this season. I haven't seen enough of him, but whenever I've played, I think he's pretty dynamic.
I don't know.
These people from Brentford who they've not spent too much money on him, but he's got European football level experience at his previous clubs as well. I think he's decent, and I think he's another one who'll stay around in the Premier League even if Brentford go back down. But as you see, I already have my sort of central midfield covered.
My end it freezes, but yours is fine, isn't it?
Yeah, you're completely calm. I see you. I see the joy leave your eyes. You hear me go, no.
But that's the beauty of not going live, because then you can just cut out and just make it work basically. So that's a great pick, and once again, it's the first time anyone's picked him. So I like the fact that you're coming with different players, because this I didn't want this being same old. So I think you've got, if you look at your sheet, have you got 2 more subs to go, Charlie? I'm sure we're on number 8 now. Yeah, okay. Right. So where's the 8th sub? Which club? I'm assuming Newcastle. This is a winger as well. This is the obvious.
And I don't want to pick him. I can't lie to you.
Nah,
I don't
have
want
to.
I don't like him. I don't like him. But I have to. There's sometimes you write it down and you go, this is the name that makes sense. And you're like, and I don't want, because I'll be real with you. Alan St-Maximin, I don't rate him as highly as everyone else. I really don't. I think he's a pace merchant. I'm like, he's fast, but he's like Mikel Antonio 3 years ago. But it just makes sense. And I don't.
So why have you picked him? Why didn't you pick Matt Ritchie?
Well, listen, I was tempted.
No.
You're looking for impact. You're looking at impact. You're saying, right, the front line I've got starting are going to be the starters. They're all big players. They're making it work. They're happening. And if it's not quite working, you just want someone to just lob on and just annoy people. You get St-Maximin involved. He's so fast. He's so tricky. He has 0 end product whatsoever. But, it sort of makes sense. It's frustrating. But again, Newcastle's one of those teams where I struggled for options a little bit, I was like, well, you could make an argument for Wilson as a backup striker, but I probably wouldn't. Like Joe Willock, maybe in 1 or 2 years, you'd maybe make an argument for if he can continue his form, certainly, but that's not happened yet. Dubravka wouldn't be a bad backup goalkeeper. Lascelles as a decent centre-back option. Lascelles was the one I did almost go with. But yeah, it makes sense with the squad. And so you just sort of got to do it. I don't like him. I can't lie to you, Teach. I don't. But it works. So it had to happen.
Right. So how is this going to work? You're the manager and you don't like this player. There might be friction.
I'm just gonna cuss him out on the training ground. Every time he shoots and it goes wide or whatever, I'm gonna be like, this dickhead, bro. Just the thing is, right?
Yeah.
You look at say Alex Ferguson, who had bust up with certain players, and they stayed for a while and then they eventually left. This guy's not starting. He's clearly not like the most important player in the team. But when you're assembling a squad, sometimes you have these characters and it's about managing them, you know. I've worked with a lot of people in the past I didn't particularly enjoy working with.
Yeah.
You know, with this it's manageable. You can make it work, but it's more just gonna be you're gonna see me standing on the touchline, probably hoodie on, you know, not like a proper manager. I'll probably be there in my hoodie, sat on the bench every time he drags it wide, just like fool.
Yeah.
Put it in the net. Put it in the net.
So what about if you put him on in the 75th and he pops up with the winner and he runs to get a hug off you? He get a hug off you. Will you hug him?
I'll get a hug. I'll hug anyone. I'll dish out the hugs there for us. I'm fine with that. Listen, you pop a winner, I'll give you the respect he deserves. Look, listen, if he scored more of those winners, maybe I'd respect him more. But until he does that, nah, he's trash. But
you're back. You said if he scored more.
If he scored more, then maybe I'd respect him more. But until that point, listen, this is my opinion on him. You work with people you don't like. Sometimes you make it work. And him as a person, I'm sure he's a nice geezer, so I could probably get on quite well with him. But I wouldn't act like. Do you remember like Sam Allardyce sitting on the bench, arms folded, sort of chewing gum, just looking angry all the time? That's going to be me when he eventually skies it for the 8th time in a match because he's fast. But he can't do anything else.
But instead of sitting down, you'll have your hoodie, drawstring clothes, standing on touchline. We can 100%. See your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously this got to be your backup striker. Which club are we going to? And then I'm assuming it'd be obvious. I don't know. So which club are we going to?
Crystal Palace.
Oh, actually, maybe not obvious then, because they've made a new signing, and maybe it is that new. Yeah. So okay.
This is another one of the risks, and it is the new signings, Edouard. When I'm thinking about that West Ham system we have, when I'm thinking about that 4-2-3-1, you're looking at someone who needs to work up front by themselves, looking at someone who can run the channels by themselves, who's got strength to hold up the ball when he needs to, all of that. Edouard sort of has all of that. Whether he can do it consistently at Premier League level yet is the risk here, similar to Firpo. That's the risk here. Can you do it consistently at this level? And I'm not 10,000% sold yet, but when you're looking at someone who has, like, you're looking at the tick list of attributes needed to play that role, he has like all of them. And that's kind of what I'm looking at here. It's a calculated risk. I really like the signing for Palace, and it's another one of those people I would have been very, very happy if West Ham had signed him in real life. I think it's a calculated risk, and I think it's one worth taking because he has done it everywhere else he's been. It's just a case of, can you do it in the Premier League? And again, I think he will. Palace for him is a weird move in sense of like, it's difficult to succeed at Palace. Look how quote unquote good Zaha is, and yet he's still at Palace. Yeah, so it's very difficult to make happen there. So it is a risk for him. But I think him as a player it's a calculated risk that's worth taking.
Yeah, like, so that's one of the players, or the player that you're talking about, that, you know, Charlie maybe didn't have the option of, because he's obviously signed since then. But yeah, I would have been happy to have him at West Ham. At the end of the day, he scores goals. Now, yeah, I know he was doing it in Scotland, but he still knows where the back of the net is. In his first Premier League game, he came on for like the last 10 minutes or whatever and scored 2 goals. So, you know, in that respect, he took to like a duck to water. So I don't see no reason why he won't do well in the Premier League. And it might take a little bit of time, but yeah, I think he's going to be a great signing for Crystal Palace, and probably a signing that they needed as well. So yeah, man, they've done well to get him.
When you look at him as a personality as well, I don't know too much about him, but from the outside, he was playing in France, and he probably would have had the option to stay in France and play for some decent teams in France and work his way up that pyramid. He decided to bet on himself, take a risk, and go to Scotland, which could have very easily have been a death wish for him, and say, no, I'm going to go somewhere where I'm going to play every single game and I'm going to prove my worth. And he did do that. Like, there's been a lot of clubs sniffing around him. It ended up Palace being the one taking the punt. But I think there's a lot of people who will be tracking his progress, because that shows a good mentality, to be honest. To bet on yourself like that, to go to a league, to drop a league, because French league will be above the Scottish league. I think we would all agree.
100%.
Even a lot of Scottish people I know would definitely agree with that. So like, to drop down that, but to back yourself and then get a move forward shows a lot of like character. And I like that in a person. So I back him. I back him to succeed. It's a risk, but I back him.
Sorry, Palace should have just scored there. Ayew.
Right.
Yeah, sorry, they're playing now actually. Like, but yeah, that's a he's definitely a worthy backup striker, and I think he's got a lot to prove in the Premier League. And like you said, if you're gonna go to Celtic, and let's say his mentality was calculated. Look, I'm going there to put myself in the shop window. That's mission accomplished. So yeah, that's definitely you got a good bench, man. And I think normally what I do is I recap. Yeah, I do. It's because I don't have your squad in front. Oh, I do actually. Send it to me. Anyway, it don't matter. Right. So let's just recap your bench, and then we'll go to the juicy bit, which is obviously the starting team. So in goal, you have Ben Foster, who's obviously, he's not a spring chicken, but he started, I think, Watford's last 2 games.
Yes.
So he's still can cut it in the Premier League. He's, from what I've seen of him on YouTube, and he like you said, he's probably going to be a great person to have in the changing room and around the squad. And you've picked him, with that in mind, rather than just, like going with their younger Austrian goalkeeper. So you've picked someone that's going to nurture the youngsters and just be a good influence on the squad and, play his role. I think, yeah, you're right that with his age and where he's at now and in your squad, he'll be happy to play that role, and he wouldn't kick up no fuss, in regards to why am I not starting. And sometimes you need that harmony in a squad. So that makes sense, that pick. Then you've gone for Max Aarons, who we've spoken about before on this channel, and he can play right back, left back. He's got a lot of pace. He needs to leave Norwich to, progress in his career, and you put him in a better team or a better squad, and you're going to see a much better player. He had the likes of, I thought it was Bayern, but I think Fever said it was Dortmund, or I know one of the big German clubs was interested in him, I think, when they went down. So that shows you sort of his pedigree. Brighton, Lewis Dunk is your backup centre back. What is he, like 6'4" or 6'5"?
He's a big boy. He's like 6'5", I think.
Yeah, and he's played for England, hasn't he?
I think he's got a cap. I think he has 1 or 2 caps. It's not many, but I think he did. I do think he got one. He definitely got called up, and I believe he got 1 or 2 caps.
And I think so. But I know he's been around the England squad, so he's another one that obviously you've touched on it, that like maybe because he's at Brighton, he's a bit underrated. And once again, you put him in a better squad, and you're going to see a better player. So. Yep, that's your centre back covered. Left back is an interesting one. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, you know why I said it's because I didn't see a lot of him at Barca. He was fully at fault for the own goal against us the other day. Like, he ended up in a right back position, then he somehow scrambled to a centre back position, and then the ball ended up coming off of him. When reality is, I don't know what he was doing over. So he looked a bit scatty, and I don't know if that's trying to fit into Leeds' philosophy and the way Bielsa plays. So I don't know whether he's just adjusting, but yeah, that's an interesting pick. But your reasoning for that makes sense. You've seen him, you knew about this guy, and you're looking at his potential, and when he finds his feet, he's going to fit into this squad of yours. Is that right? The right analogy?
Yeah, on that and I think IRL will work out as well, because like he did well for Betis before Barcelona. He did well at Barcelona, like not unreal, but he did well at Barcelona. I think once he finds his squeak both in the squad but also IRL, I think it will end up working for him. I mean, we'll see what happens with Bielsa. That could be the make or break of any Leeds player right now. Is the make or break of Marcelo Bielsa, and what the hell happens there, and we have no idea. But we'll see.
Exactly, it looks a bit crazy to me. So then that's your keeper and defenders. Then we move forward to your centre midfielder, which is Southampton's James Ward-Prowse. I don't really need to say much about him. Everybody's picked him. Everybody's picked him on his bench because he's not going to be good enough for any of one starting's team for this format. No way. But he's just below that level, so he's going to be like a star on the bench.
Yeah.
Then you went to Aston Villa. And once again, I like this. I might have to make something that says, like new pick or whatever. You went for John McGinn, who no one has picked, and great reasoning again. And he is a quality player. I'm not, like I said, Firpo. I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna just say it because you're on the show. But John McGinn, he proved me wrong. Like I said, when Man United was interested in him, and I thought, who's this guy? But he's a great player. He's got a bit of everything about him. So once again, from Aston Villa, and the fact that you needed another midfielder in your squad, that makes perfect sense. Then you went to Brentford, I think. Yes, you did. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes. And you went for their winger. What's his first name?
I think it's Brian. I think
it?
Hilariously, I do think his name is Brian, which is not it, which feels wrong, but
Brian.
it's Brian. I was right. It is Brian.
It is, yeah. Brian Mbeumo, who is, like I said, is when I first done this with Charlie Boy, I said people will either pick Mbeumo or Tony. Everybody's picked Tony on their bench so far, and you know, Charlie's breaking that mold once again, and he's gone for Mbeumo, which is, yeah, I like him, man. He's very, like, you know, that stocky, direct, and like low center of gravity. He works hard. He scores goals. He creates goals. So, you know, yeah, it is a toss up between those two, and it depends on whether you've got a striker in mind. If not, you're going to go for Tony. If you've already got your striker in mind, then of course it's going to be Mbeumo. So yeah, that's a great pick. It's an exciting pick as well.
Yeah.
Then we went to Newcastle, and Charlie picked his favorite player in the Premier League, and that was like everybody before him was Alan St-Maximin, who between him and Callum Wilson, I feel is their best players. But I feel, remember, we're picking the best version of each player, so you're picking St-Maximin at his very best. And
yeah, I just when I've watched the other episodes, which everyone should do, if you haven't watched the other episodes, go watch them. They're all good. Every time he comes up, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, there's so many better players than that. And yet when I came to do this, I was like, you're looking at it, you're cross-referencing it, you're going, wow, the slot is there. It's Alan St-Maximin, the donut he is, but yeah, what can you do?
So I rate him, like when he's at it, I rate him, but you know, like he does run out of steam, and does some pointless stuff sometimes. But on his day, you're picking the best version of him. And then I am correct in saying your final sub, yeah. We went to, where did we go?
Palace. It's behind us right now. Palace.
Oh yeah, Crystal. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. I should have took that off actually. You know why? I meant to be just showing the one from each team at certain intervals. We went to Crystal Palace, and obviously Charlie went for their new signing.
Yeah,
Otson Edward, who wasn't available for, I think, Charlie Boy, but the other two could have picked him. And yeah, that's his backup striker. He scored goals wherever he's been. He scored 2 goals on his Premier League debut in a very short space of time. So I feel that he is going to be a proven Premier League striker. So to have him on your bench, once again, I think that's a great shot, man.
And he works in the system. The system we're building here, that 4-2-3-1, that guy who's going to work, it's going to happen. I believe in him. I believe in him.
All right. So onto the juicy bit. We are, you know, on time, I think 39 minutes in. So we're kind of, yep. Now, a lot of these, well, especially the keeper, as soon as you say the club, it's going to be obvious. But
yes,
I do know this is actually, like I said, I knew about 6-year-old players because I saw the email and then I thought, you know what? So you tell me where we're going to go for your goalkeeper.
I should say before this, there's less new players now, but that's because I've gone for, I focused a lot on the first team, and I was like, these boys are gonna do it. These are the boys. So we're starting with the person everyone knows. Second I say it, it's Burnley,
and there they are.
Here
we go. It's Nick Pope.
It's Nick Pope. He's very good, and he's just a good goalkeeper. He's England's best goalkeeper in my opinion. He's on the younger side for goalkeepers, but I think he has everything it takes to be one of the better goalkeepers in the Premier League for a long time. I really like Nick Pope. I really, really do. And playing for a team like Burnley when you're a goalkeeper can be rough, can be difficult. But I think he pulls it off. I think if you saw him go to a big club, you would see him step up a level even again. I really like Nick Pope. I really do. And that's why everyone keeps picking him. I appreciate it. I know, like, for example, CB put him in as his first choice as well for a reason. He's very good. It's Nick Pope.
Of course. And obviously with the format, you've got to pick someone from Burnley. And he is probably, you know, one of, or if not, their only sort of, you know, there was 3 players. There was 3 in my head. There's 3 players you could pick. Dwight McNeil
and Tarkowski. They're the 3 I think you could make arguments for. If you want to play a specific style of football, you could maybe go wild and pick someone like Chris Wood or whatever. But if you're just picking, like, if in this specific format, I think those are the 3 obvious options. And I think Nick Pope is their best player, to be honest with you. So I went with Pope.
So, off the top of my head, Charlie Boy picked him. Fever had him on his bench. And did Gatesy pick him?
Can't remember.
Who was Gatesy's goalie? I think he was in everybody's squad. I think. Yeah, he is, man, because there ain't no other Burnley players, man. So, yeah, he's been picked by everybody. So that sort of speaks volumes about Nick Pope. So you're playing forward. All right, let's go to your right back. Tell me which club for your right back.
It is Chelsea.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, they're right there. Oh. Who is it?
It's the best right back in the league. It's Reece James. I don't care what y'all say. He's the best right back in the league. You look like if I could pick both him and Chilwell, I've said this before. I said it on one of the shows I think we did together during the Euros when we spoke about England, and I think him and Chilwell are the best fullback pairing in the league, in my opinion. I really like them as a pair. I think they're so good. And if I could pick them both, I could. I can't because of the format, but I really do like them as a pair. But I really like Reece James. I think, and again, seeing as I'm sort of trying to base this on West Ham's style of football right now and emulate their play a little bit, he's probably the highest level guy you're going to see who's a bit like Soufal in that he has that defensive work. He really can do it. If a player is 1v1 with him, you're back in Reece James. It's not like Ryan Fredericks where he's trying to get back into position or his pace, or it's not like Max Aarons where he's going forward or other people. Reece James is up there. Like Wan-Bissaka is the other one who you expect for defensive work rate, but I think Reece James is better than him. I really, really like him. I think he's the best right back in the league, if I'm being honest. I think he's a baller. I'm big into Reece James. Reece James.
So I think I'm correct in saying he is also a new pick. You've watched him. I don't think no one's picked him, have they?
Not as far as I'm aware. I can't remember off the top of my head, but not as far as I'm aware.
So I'm happy with all these new picks. And you know what? You can't argue with that. You know, England seem to be blessed at the minute with right backs in abundance. And, you know, there's an argument for all of them. But he does have a bit of everything about him. Now, I know when he was at Wigan, he was playing in centre mid and he was scoring goals. So clearly, he can attack. He can create. He can score goals. He can defend. And, you know, he's strong. He's fast. He can get up and down. So, you know, there's an argument to say, like, as an all-round right back, he possibly is England's best. And yeah, so you definitely can't turn, you know, you can't argue with that. And, you know, he's a Champions League winner, England international. So yeah, that's a very, very solid right back. So yeah, that's a great pick actually. And yeah, I think it is a new pick once again. So yeah, Charlie Walsh is coming with a new picks. I like that. Let's go to your right centre back. Which club for your right centre back?
The opposite of whatever you would call a new pick. It's Liverpool. And it's abundantly obvious who it's going to be.
Wait. When I put them on, I know who this is. This is Joel Matip.
It's Joel Matip. I love him. He's tall. Let's go. Yes. Van Dijk in it.
Come on.
Van Dijk in it.
Where do you rate him in the world of centre backs? Where is he? What number is he? Or top what?
He's top three. He's top three. He's top three. He was the best. He definitely the two seasons they won. Whatever the last thing they won was, it was the Premier League they won last.
Premier League.
He was the best. He just was the best. He's so. You want to talk about someone on their day, and he's on his day basically almost every day. He's so big. And actually, to back up my Edouard point a little bit, you want to talk about someone who came from Celtic, came from Scotland and did it. Look at Van Dijk. He came to a lower Premier League club, proved himself, and then went on to Liverpool. And now look at him.
Exactly.
I'm not saying Edouard's going to do the same thing. I'm just saying there's precedence there. But yeah, no, it's Van Dijk. It's obvious. It's Van Dijk. You know. Yeah,
you know, there's nothing to say about him, and you know, we could sit here and talk about him all day. He's being picked by everybody. So yeah. That's Liverpool's, you know, you're missing out on your Salahs, your Manes, your Trents and all that. But clearly,
mate, when you see this front line, you ain't missing none of that. You ain't seeing none of that. You're missing none of
that. All right. So who is going to what club are we going to partner Van Dijk at centre back? So your left centre back is
another not new pick, but not everyone's picked him. Wolves.
Ooh, hold on. Okay. Oh, one person picked him. If it's who I think it is.
Gacy did pick him. It's Connor Cody.
Okay.
I think Connor Cody's really good, you know. A bit like Dunk in a sense. He's been around a long time. He obviously started at Liverpool and he went down to Wolves and has come up with them. And he's really good. He has everything you want in a centre back, to be honest with you. And on top of that, he's got really good leadership qualities. He's the right age, and again, you're looking at the likes of Aarons and Firpo and Reece James, and they're quite young. You want leaders in that room. He's definitely one of them. He's someone who will always stand up and be counted. And like, if I'm looking at my starting lineup, he's the person I'm probably least happy with. But to say I'm least happy with Connor Cody, in my opinion, is like a huge praise, because like that, like Connor Cody is very good. He's very, very good. He could very easily leave Wolves and go to a big team, and it wouldn't surprise me. And I think it would suit him. I really like him.
This is very random, but who would you pick if you was picking for West Ham and we had the funds, or would you buy Connor Cody or John Stones?
What for our like if I was the manager right now this second, so I have the exact squad we have right now and everything else.
Who do you rate? Who do you rate the most?
I think John Stones is probably slightly better, but that's mainly because he has the sort of ball playing ability and he's a little bit faster than Connor Cody, in my opinion. So I'd probably give him the sort of nod of being better. But if you're looking at like our squad right now, to be honest with you, I think you could make the argument for Connor Cody to come in, because it's not like you look at John Stones and it's like, well, when you're looking at that age profile of centre back, we've got Zuma, we've got Diop. Like having another person like Connor Cody, and it might benefit that, might be able to help them in a little bit. And again, he's someone who's going to stand up. He is a better version than Dawson in that sense. He's someone who's going to stand up and be counted. He's got the leadership qualities, and he has a lot less mistakes in him, and he's just a better player. So I mean, I think there's an argument for Cody, certainly. If it was just by who do I think it would be John Stones. But
I only asked you that because I just wanted to see how highly you rated Cody. Now, obviously, John Stones is, you said he could leave Wolves for a bigger club. I just want to see where you put him, and I thought, what, he's the benchmark, 50 million, and you're saying, look, all right, not as good. So yeah, I just want to see basically how highly you rated Connor Cody, and you're saying, look,
he's not a million miles off. He's not a million miles off. 100%.
So that was why that random, Okay, so for the final piece of your back line, left back, which club are we going to for your left back?
It is Everton FC.
Everton.
The club of Sylvester Stallone. Everton.
Here we go, lad.
Digne's the best left back in the league. Like, I really, as much I like Chilwell, and I think they're a better partnership, but individually, I've watched Digne for a long time. I remember him coming through at PSG and thinking, oh, this kid looks good. And then he's another person who went to Barcelona as a left back and was standing next to Jordi Alba, and it didn't
Brighton
quite work.
Just scored. Brighton just scored in the 95th minute to make it 1-1. Sorry.
And it was you said it was a pen minute. Before. You said it was a pen before, right?
Penalty in the 46th minute, stoppage time. And then they've just scored in the 95th minute.
Flipping heck.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's another person who was standing next to Jordi Alba at Barcelona, and it didn't quite work out for him because obviously he's standing next to him. But when I saw him coming through at PSG, I was like, this kid can play. And then even when he did the times he did actually get to play for Barcelona, I was like, there's something there. And so when he stepped up at Everton, and all of a sudden he was the best left back in the league, I wasn't entirely shocked. Don't get me wrong, there's some other very good left backs in the Premier League right now, but when it comes to it, when you're talking about someone who, again, you're looking at a system, you're looking for someone who's going to be able to get forward and get sort of early crosses in, accurate crosses. He is pinpoint at times. Like his crossing is like so good at times. I really, really rate Luca Digne. I think he's right good. I do. He's good boy.
Quality player. I think Charlie Boy picked him. So yeah, that's I wouldn't say that obvious, but it's he's definitely one, or if not the best left back, and he's another one that creates goals. He's good at set pieces, and he's pedigree, PSG, Barcelona, and Everton. So that's another great pick. So 4-2-3-1. Right, okay. So we're gonna go into your two centre mid or defensive midfielders, and you can which club are we going to first?
You're looking for that pivot, right? You're looking for in my mind the perfect pivot. You have one who you want people who are both defensively capable, but one who's going to be the solid rock who can hold it down, and that gives the other person a license to move a bit further forward. So we'll start with the rock, and we'll start with Leicester.
Leicester. Ooh. Who is it?
Ndidi. My giddy aunt, can that boy tackle?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, holy moly. When they lost Kante, I thought there is no way they're ever going to find a midfielder that good. And, you know, I'm not saying Ndidi is as good as Kante, because Kante, in my mind, is a generational talent. I really do believe Kante. I look at him and I'm like, you're the Claude Makélélé of this generation. You are so good. But Ndidi runs him flipping close. That guy is tireless. His tackling is unreal. He's not complicated. He's not going to grab the ball and do some insane part. Like, it's not that what we're looking for him for. We're looking for someone who's going to hold it down, screen the back four, and give us defensive solidity. And that will allow our person next to him to get a bit forward, to get work back a little bit. And he does everything, man. Indeed, he's very good. He's a very good player, is Wilfred. I'm very jealous. I look at him and I'm just longing. I just long for him. He's very good.
We'll have a bit of that. You know, when we played Leicester, when they were doing the build-up, you know, they compared his stats to Declan Rice, and, you know, some favoured Rice and some did favour him. So, you know, like people like Carragher and Neville was, you know, they was praising him highly, and he is a fantastic player, and he's definitely up there in the top 3 in that position in the Premier League, 100%. So yeah, I can't argue with that. Like, no way. And people have picked him already, so I think I said my piece on him. But yeah, quality player, and you'd love to have him in that team in that position. So what will be interesting is who is going to partner him to make this, you know, ultimate defensive midfield partnership. Which club? There can only be one club in my mind, but boys.
West Ham.
Oh, thank God for that. Yeah.
It's Mark Noble. Let's go. Bring him in, guys.
Get him in.
It's Connor Coventry. Yeah, Declan Rice, I guess.
Come on.
Yeah. The thing is, people know my opinion on Declan Rice, right? I would sell him. I think we need to sell him. I think we should have sold him. I think the time to sell Declan Rice was the last summer. People also know my opinion, if you watch the watch-alongs, that I think Thomas Souček is infinitely more important to this team than Declan Rice is. I really genuinely do. Last season's formation, everything, I thought Thomas Souček was the player. But it's in this system that I'm trying to emulate here. Like, you could make the argument of maybe you pick Rice, maybe you go for Tielemans, and he's the one who goes backward forward. Or you could make the argument of maybe you bring in someone like a Calvin Phillips or a Gundogan or a Pogba or whoever else, right? There's a lot of different people you could pick to play that sort of box-to-box role. But when you look at West Ham, they're like, as many options as we have, you pick the best and you put them in. And it is Declan Rice. It is Declan Rice, isn't it? It just is.
Yeah.
It just is.
You know, I've done this when I come up with this idea. I've done it on because I've got a channel that we don't really use, which is for the Kids Academy Development Center that I run.
Yeah.
Me and Davey, who's also West Ham, we put out our versions on there. And, you know, Rice was in my team. You know, things have changed now in regards to people that are still in the league and whatnot. But yeah, like, if I were to do this again, he's in my team. You understand? And then I work around that. But yeah, you know, like, we've had Soufal from, I think, Charlie Boy. And I think also did Fever pick Soufal. Yeah, and I think Gatesy picked Rice. I think Gatesy was the first one to pick Rice. So, yeah, but for me...
I really tried not to as well. I want to be clear, but I really tried not to because I felt it's too obvious a pick. Similar to St. Maximin, but for different reasons. I really did try not to pick Declan Rice. I sat down for a long time and looked at it and went, right, how can I not pick Rice? And I tried to put different pieces in different parts of the formation because, you know, one from each team. So you can only put certain people in certain places and certain people are sort of obvious. And it didn't matter how I spun it. It didn't matter how I spun it. I was like, he just has to go in. He just has to go in. And earlier on today, like I saw on Twitter earlier on today that Gary Neville saying that Man United should buy Jude Bellingham ahead of Declan Rice. And I'm like, look, Jude Bellingham's a great player, but he hasn't got a patch on him right now. He hasn't got a patch on him. It's too obvious. And as you can see, I've not tried to pick the most obvious people. I've tried to build something here. I've tried to build a squad of boys here. But he just suits too well. He's just too perfect a person not to put in.
Yeah,
you just can't.
Rice and Ndidi is that's.
Step to me. Bring whoever you want. Step, come to me, bro. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing right now. You ain't got nothing. They'll take the ball off you twice in a row. You don't even have it the second time. They'll still take it from you. That's how good they are. You got nothing.
That's like, like the defenders ain't gonna have much to do, and even to get when they finally get past them, you got Van Dijk, marshalling that back line. So what would be interesting is who. Or what club is your number 10 or the person playing in front of those two centrally? Which club?
So part of the reason why I've gone so defensively solid is this front line's quite attacking. And there's one person in there that's a bit more of a leeway to that extent. But a lot of it is very much, I just want these boys to run wild. And so if you're asking number 10, again, it's not someone who hasn't been picked before. It's Manchester City.
Okay.
It's the best player in the Premier League is Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
He when you think about the West Ham style and you think Ben Rama's sort of on number 10 at the moment, and he does come back a lot. He does drop back a lot. He does try to defend, even if it's not his golden thing to do, he still is putting in that work rate. I'm not asking Kevin De Bruyne to do that. Do you know what I mean? I'm saying to Kevin De Bruyne, you just do whatever you want. You've got boys behind you screening you who are big geezers who are going to stop anything that comes near them. You just go where you want. You do what you want. You live your best life, Kevin. You're going to provide the assist because my front line is lightning. I'm telling you this now, they are lightning. And Kevin De Bruyne providing assists for these people is a scary prospect. It's a scary prospect.
And not only does he provide assists, but this guy creates goal scoring chances and he scores goals as well. And I've said it already, in his position, whatever position you want to pigeonhole him to, he's the best in the world. So, I mean, you said he's the best in the Premier League player. So I would say in his position, anyone that's similar in position to him, for me, he's the best player in the world. So naturally,
I would agree.
You've got to get him in your team. You have to get Kevin De Bruyne in your team.
Yeah, I went through a lot and I looked at the starting lineup was what I concentrated on most to begin with. And I tried to pick something that really would work. And there were certain people where I was like, this person has to go in for the style, but also because of how good they are. And Kevin De Bruyne was literally the first name on the sheet. I was like, Kevin De Bruyne. Everything else 100%. Could work out. As much as I want to put Ruben Diaz next to Virgil van Dijk, because imagine that centre-back partnership. As much as I want to put Roger, exactly. As much as I want to put Rodri in, as much as I want to put other people in, bang. Kevin De Bruyne, he's in, and everything else can work out around him. That's the one. That's the one.
Has to be the way. Right. So far, so good. Those midfield three, Rice, Ndidi, and De Bruyne. Just wow. That's all I'll say about that. Where do you want to go? To your left wing or your right wing? You tell me, and then tell me which club.
I'll tell you what. Let's go left wing first. And it is Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay.
And it is your South Korean boy Son. Again, and this is the thing. I wanted to have this sort of balance, right? And the reason I'm picking left, saying let's go left first, is because the right player is someone who's going to lend a bit of balance to this. Because again, Son, I'm just having him run wild, bro. If you want just pure. Imagine his darting runs with Kevin De Bruyne playing the ball through to him. Oof. And the thing is with Son does actually have defensive work rate. How often do you see him run the entire length of the pitch? And that's because he is back. He is doing his job. He is trying to make that work, right? So as much as he is basically a striker on the wing in a lot of ways, as much as he is that, he does have that defensive work rate. He's not the best defensive player in the world. He's not making loads of tackles or anything like that. But he's at least going to work hard in the system. You want to talk about someone who works hard. Son really does work his nuts off like every single game. There's very few times I watch Tottenham, or I don't watch South Korea, so I won't lie. But every time there's very few times I watch Tottenham and I go, "Oh, Son's not trying." Like he really does put in a shift all of the time. And again, for this system, you need that. You want the boys working hard, and he is going to do that. But at the same time, just run wild, mate. You just have at it. Have at it. He's like Alan St. Maximum. If Alan St. Maximum was any good, do you know what I mean? Just go at him. Just go at him.
You better hope your new player don't hear this. Like his manager like slating him. You know what? Obviously, when I done this, I'm sure Christmas just gone, so players have changed. But I picked Van Dijk. I picked. Oh, you know what? No, yeah, Pope was on my bench. I picked Van Dijk. I picked Rice. I picked De Bruyne. And I picked Son. So why would I, disagree with the player? You understand? I've picked them as well, and obviously in the same position as you. So yeah, I definitely can't argue with Son. And has he been everybody's Spurs pick?
I feel like someone picked Harry Kane.
Yes, they did. Fever. I think Fever did.
Fever. I remember seeing Harry Kane pop up. So yes. I feel like that happened.
No, it wasn't.
Was it?
It was Gatesy. Gatesy picked him. Yeah. And then you three have picked Son. So yeah, man. Like on the left side in the Premier League, at the time when I'd done a video, I said I think it was either between Son or Mane. And I think Son or Mane in that position. But obviously if you pick Van Dijk, then you can't pick Mane, can you? So yeah. Which club are we going to? Sorry, for your right, because I don't know who this is. I haven't even got a clue what club I'm going to. I know you're striker because I saw that.
Yeah.
Which club?
Right midfield, there's 2 clubs left. And the right midfielder, I'll tell you what, before I say this, I was very close to picking Jared Bowen. Very close to picking Jared Bowen. Because you want to talk, Bowen and Fornals were the 2 I was close to picking. Because you want to talk about people who make our system work. Their work rate, their sheer effort makes it happen. But once I decided that Rice had to go in, I was thinking, right, I do need a bit more balance here because I've got Son. The striker is, well, we'll see. Like you've got Kevin De Bruyne who's doing his thing. I do need a bit more balance. Who can play on the right-hand side? Who has the energy? Who has the work rate? And more importantly, can defend. And so I've gone with Arsenal.
Oh.
I'm shocked that Arsenal even made it to the first 11. I will say that as a North London person, I am shocked.
One sec. So I'm assuming I know who this is because I don't know. Okay, Arsenal.
Who do you think it is? Who do you think it is?
I think it's got to be Saka then, isn't it?
It is Saka. It is definitely Saka.
Yeah.
I don't think he's at the level of being one of the best players in the Premier League yet. He certainly has the ability to get there. But what he brings is that balance, right? He will allow him and the centre back the double pivot in midfield will allow the rest of our forward line to just go mad, and that's kind of what you want. And Saka is obviously very, very talented going forward as well. But you're looking at someone who has the work rate, who can defend so much that he has played fullback for Arsenal. And that's an Arsenal team who need to defend as well, and a manager who likes defending. So like, it's not like he's bad at that by any stretch of imagination. But he's got a bit of everything, Saka, and he has the work rate, and he seems like a very good character as well. I really like Saka a lot. Out of all of the Arsenal team, he's one of the players I really, really genuinely enjoy. He sort of allows that balance. I think he allows that balance. So that's why he's in. He sort of had to go in that sense. But I'm shocked they made the starting 11. but that's where we are.
They didn't make the first 2. They didn't make theirs, and then obviously Tierney got in Gatesy's one. So you've followed that trend, and you thought, you know what? But you know what? I think he's got bags of potential. He was, instrumental in them defeating Tottenham yesterday. Plays for England at a very young age. Had a lot of pressure on his shoulders and that. So there's a lot more to come from him, and even having him, where he can play fullback if necessary, I think he can play on or operate on either wing. So he's versatile, but he's quality in whichever position he plays in. So, and he's young, man. So, and he's obviously left-footed, playing on the right-hand side. So you've got Son,
and he's gonna allow this front 3 rest of them to go mad. And that's what I want. I want lunacy.
Have it. So you want them to have it, yeah?
Exactly.
The front 4. So, if those that, don't remember Charlie's clubs, some of you, once he says the club, you're going to know who it is. But, some of you might have forgotten who he's picked now because that was a long time ago. So Which club are we going to for your striker, the man that's going to score you the goals to win you this one from each team league?
Another person I tried hard not to pick. I really did. And someone who other people didn't have the fortune of being able to pick. The club is Manchester United.
Anthony Martial.
He's bald. You love it. He's lost his hair and he's gone wild. Yeah, it's Ronaldo. Like, again, you want to talk about someone who can do everything. And that's kind of what you need in this system. Let's talk about the logistics of why you put Ronaldo in, apart from the fact that he is Cristiano Ronaldo. He's arguably the second best player in the world, maybe the third best player in the world at this point, but he's up there. Let's talk about the logistics of someone who, like, in this formation, someone playing up front by themselves. Obviously, they're going to be heavily supported by Son and Kevin De Bruyne and whatnot, but you want someone who can do everything. Because that's what Mikel Antonio does. Now, Mikel Antonio, he's not doing everything to the level of Ronaldo, but he's certainly doing everything. You need someone who can hold the ball up when they need to because they've got the strength to do it. Someone who can get on the end of like win-headed balls. Someone who can sprint through with their pace. Someone who can just finish when they need to. Like someone who could do everything. And there is, the original pick was Lukaku. The original pick was Lukaku for that role. But then I looked and saw Cristiano Ronaldo existed, and he does literally everything. His evolution into a striker over the last 4 years has been kind of wild to see. But the right thing for him is his age, and he's going to score a bag load of goals this season in the Premier League for it. Like, Man United are a very difficult team to pick for because they do have a lot of world-class players in that team at this point. They have a very, very good team, Manchester United. Some notable holes, but outside of that, a very good team. But yeah, when you're playing a system like me, if you were playing a front two, maybe you wouldn't pick him. Maybe you could have a bit more dynamism between two different people and have two different styles of players or whatever. But for someone who's just got everything, it kind of has to be Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, and you can't argue that. And like I've always said, I've always been a Messi over Ronaldo. But one thing you can't do is, or you have to respect what he done, what he is, and what he's about. The one thing with him is he just seems very selfish, and someone else will score, and that's the thing that. But if you just take that out of the equation and you say, look, what has this guy done, football wise, stats wise, trophies wise, and like this guy is it's ridiculous, right? That's all I can say. And like if I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and I am a Messi sort of fan, is that Cristiano Ronaldo, wherever he's gone, he's done it. Do you understand? Like he's done it, and even now at the age he's at, he ain't looking like slowing down. Do you understand? And to add to what you said, his traits and that is, he's still got the skills in him. Even if he only does them now and again, they're still going to catch you out because he ain't Cristiano of 1890 was always doing step overs. Now, if he does a step over, it's probably going to fool you because he don't really do that, but he's still got it. He scores tap-ins. When we played them, I was driving back from football, and obviously I had like some of the boys in the car, and I said, look, we was winning. I said, Cristiano Ronaldo ain't done nothing. I said, but he's going to score a tap in. And that's what he scored. Yes, it was his initial first shot, but ultimately he scored a tap in. So this guy, like, he scored all types of goals. I wouldn't be surprised if he was slightly happy that Bruno missed that penalty, just so now he knows I'm on penalties. Do you understand what I'm saying, Jay? And that's the selfish thing about him that I don't like. But I love his mentality is that I just think he's got a list of records. I genuinely believe he's got a whole list of records that he wants to beat. And every time, like, I don't know, it's like Man United, it might be like, I don't know how many goals he's on for them, 100 or whatever. His target might be 150. And he knows with that target who he jumps ahead of. You understand? I just think he's got loads of records. And that is part of his motivation, is that he's got lists to tick off. So, 100%. Yeah, I love his drive. And, like, Man United signing him turned them into title contenders, and that, once again, he's 36 years old, so that tells you everything you need to know about that man. So we're going to go back for your starting team real quick, and what I'm going to do before we do this, because now we've done 4, I'm going to do a short video, maybe 10 minutes, comparing the 4 teams and the 4 squads, and then hopefully people can give their opinion. But let's go back through your starting team. From Burnley, you've got Nick Pope in goal, England international, and in my opinion, England's best goalkeeper. Yep. Right back, you've gone for Reece James of Chelsea, Champions League winner, England international, very young and very experienced. And, if you look at it overall, he possibly is England's best right back in regards to if you accumulate, the traits of everything into one, and he probably is England's best right back. Centre back, you've gone for Virgil van Dijk. I don't need to say nothing about him, so we'll move on. Connor Cody. I know you have to pick someone from Wolves, and you've got to pick someone from a club that you haven't already picked. So ideally you pick Diaz, but you said Kevin De Bruyne is in my team. So Connor Cody is not a liability. He's not a poor pick. He's not a why have you picked him? This concept is what it is, and you're going to have these sort of a little bit left or a little bit of a curveball. You're going to have them in your squad, and he's an England international. He didn't play in the Euros possibly because of the style or the format or whatever it was. It wasn't because of his lack of ability. He just didn't play because of the people that was in front of him.
Yeah,
but he was there and thereabouts. And from what I was hearing, he was very good around the camp and all that. So because of your philosophy and your thinking, he would be great in this squad. And you're alongside Virgil van Dijk, so you'll be fine. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Left back Luca Dean is once again possibly the best left back in the league. I rate him highly, and I've spoke about him once again. So yeah, I've said all I've got to say about him. But yeah, I rate him highly, and he's possibly going to be a lot of people's picks for left back. Defensive midfielders or centre midfielders, whatever you want to call them, Ndidi and Rice is, I think, in regards to defensive stability, forget, goals and assists. Like Souček will, give you goals and Calvin Phillips will give you a lot of energy. But I think for defensive stability, that is the best defensive midfield partnership that you can pick in the Premier League. Those two players.
I agree.
And ultimately, you kind of want them to first and foremost screen that defense, win the ball back, and push it onto. But you have players like Rice that can actually now pick it up and drive forward and also set up attacks. But first and foremost, their primary objective is to give the defenders the least amount of work to do as possible. And I feel those two are the best partnership for that role.
Yeah.
In front of them, you've got, in my opinion, the best player in the world in that position. In your opinion, the best Premier League player. He scores goals. He creates goals. He sprays the ball. His passing range is ridiculous. The way he strikes the ball is on either foot as well. Is just redonkulous. I call it. You got to put him in your team. You have to put him in your team.
Yeah.
Then we go to your left winger or your left attacking midfielder. You've gone for Heung-min Son, who, once again, you're not the first one to pick him, but I think he's like, once you get to this far up the pitch, if you haven't picked a Spurs player, then yeah, you've got to put him in. Like, it's going to be him or Harry Kane, but I picked him. So yeah, like I would definitely, once again, I would go with Heung-min Son for Spurs. I think his quality. I think he's quite a humble person. He seems to play with a smile on his face. He seems to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, he's going to be a great player to have around your squad. Onto your right-hand side, you've gone for an Arsenal player. I think he's just turned 20, and that is Bukayo Saka. Is that how you say his first name?
I think so.
Bukayo Saka. He's got a lot of potential. He's already fulfilling that potential at a very young age. He's doing it in the Premier League. He's doing it for England. He's highly rated. And depending on, I don't know his loyalty to Arsenal, and depending on how Arsenal do in this season, next season, I could see him going to a bigger club, going to a Chelsea, going to a City, going to a Liverpool. I could see him, if Arsenal was not doing anything, then, clubs will come in for him because he's that good. So, and he's got a lot more growth to come. And then finally, you've gone for, we have to, address him for what he is. He's a legend. He's a phenomenon. It don't make no sense. He's still doing it after all these years. He's done it in many of countries. He's done it with Portugal. Yeah, he didn't play in the final, but it's a squad thing. He got them there. He played his part in that final as well, because of the person he is. He's won, I think, is it 5 Champions Leagues? 5 Champions Leagues?
It's a lot.
You don't even,
a lot.
5 Ballon d'Ors. His goals for game ratio, he scored more goals than games for Real Madrid in all competitions. More goals than games for Real Madrid. More goals than games for Real Madrid. In how many games did he play for them? 400 and something games, I think.
I'm on his Wikipedia page now.
Okay, good.
In 292 league appearances. He scored 311 goals, but that's just league appearances. That doesn't include anything else. I could find that in 438 games in total in all competitions, he scored 450 goals.
Right. So that is ridiculous.
How?
Ridiculous. And yeah, that's yeah. So he's also the Champions League top goal scorer with in one single competition, which was 17 goals. He's broken so many records, so many accolades, and he's still hungry for more. So yeah, he's a legend. Not as much a legend as Charlie Walsh, but he's definitely up there. But
certified. He's not certified.
Yeah. So yeah, this is it's a great mentality that you've come with into your reasoning. And yeah, it's a great team, and I'm very excited about your front. We call them your front six, which would be Rice and Ndidi, De Bruyne, Son, Saka, and Ronaldo. Like that, there is I really, really, really excited about that. So great job. We're on an hour and 17. So what I would say is I'm going to say this, and I'm going to just leave it to Charlie. Once again, I fully appreciate Charlie coming on. The time now is 10:20 in the evening, and I know he's very busy. He came on, last minute. Yesterday night, he was on West Ham Random, and he's come on here and done this. So I really appreciate that. Once again, it was a great show. Charlie's got that professional voice. His mic sounds sick, and he just sounds like everything just sounds. I don't know what's going on with his Wi-Fi, but he sounds he's got the whole package. And I first met Charlie on West Ham Random. I don't know what it was, and I thought, I like this guy. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not very sociable, and there's certain people that do this that I just don't. Nah, they wouldn't be on my channel. You understand? And I like you, Charlie. There's something about you. So I'm glad you came on, man. And that's me. So Charlie, once again, if you want to, shout out your channel or whatever, just because we're gonna wrap this up, man.
First of all, if you haven't subscribed to Hammers Fans United, obviously get on with it. What are you doing? How are you getting this far in and not doing that? Come on now and get on that. Click the like button, all that good stuff. But if you want to find me, Hammers Chat is the place you can find me. You can find me on my Twitter at @ATopLad. I do a lot of different things. I have a gaming channel, @ATopLad. I have a wrestling channel, @ATopMark. I do a lot of stuff all the time. But specifically, you're a West Ham fan. Come get involved in the watch-alongs. If you don't go to the game, I try to have fun conversations with people, and I would love to see you in the comment section to keep me company and watch me. I do this thing, Titch, where I eat too many oranges. I've tried to stop doing it, but on stream, I'm shoving a whole oranges in my mouth. There's 3 or 4 in a row. It's bad. But I do it for you lot, for your pleasure at watching my pain. So come have a look. Hammers Chat and Charlie Walsh.
You can never eat too much oranges, you know that, don't you?
Bro, I'll tell you a story off air. But I'll tell you a story off air. But I have found the limit of eating too many oranges.
I know what you're gonna say, because I know what orange juice does. Too much of that.
Yes,
yes. But I'm going to put all of Charlie's links in the description for his Twitter, the 2 YouTube channels, and please subscribe to Hammers Chat and Hammers Chat Forum. And Charlie, you lot have seen enough of him to understand this is a top lad, and that's what his name is on his YouTube name, Top Lad, and he is. And he's very informative, very knowledgeable, and speaks sense when he does speak. So, and he's entertaining. He's a character, a good, and I mean it in a good way. He's not no boring, bland. He's a character. He's got his his dry sense of humor. He's got his Charlie's from the ends. I can see all that. So that's why I like him as well, because I can see
the accent. The accent does give it away a little bit.
He drops a few little things. Little phrases in. Okay, this guy's So I'm hoping that you got to the end of the video. And what I'd like to say is thanks for watching. Definitely subscribe to Charlie's channel. If you want to subscribe to mine, then that'd be good. I don't really take this seriously. But I like to see people growing, especially people that that I like. So subscribe to Hammers Chat and Hammers Chat Forum. Charlie, only one thing to say, and we're in Europe on Thursday, and then we've got Brentford on, is it Sunday or Monday?
Sunday.
One thing to say, Charlie. What is it, mate?
Come on, you Irons. Let's get in there, boys. Come on, let's go. Big plays.
Come on, you Irons.
Let's go. Big plays. Come on.